Hi there. Today, we're going to be talking about exactly how you can guarantee your success in the car sales industry as a car salesperson and completely remove luck from the equation of whether you are winning or whether you are losing and selling enough cars to support yourself, your family, and your goals. If you don't know who I am, my name is Anthony Spanos. I started selling cars when I was 19 years old. I made $190,000 my first year on the sales floor. I made finance manager by 23, general sales manager by 24, and now I help car salespeople in dealerships full time to sell more cars and scale their income. Before we jump into it, I want to show you guys something that we've just started. This is a community on skool.com, SKOOL. You can find the link to our group in the description. It is an ad-free platform where car salespeople all across the country gather to share insights, network, and show off their wins as they sell cars. You can see we have members all across the US and in Alaska and Hawaii. This is a place where we can interact with one another. You can see some of our members are posting their sales. Nathaniel here had an awesome win with 2 sales on the last day of the month. And we also post training. We host a weekly live training that you can come and watch and ask questions at if you want to interact face to face with us. And it is a good time. And I hope to see you all there. Click the link. Now let's jump right into the video. To guarantee your success in this industry, you have to get proactive about engaging customers and not waiting for them to come to you. Now, this might seem obvious, but some people confuse marketing actions with prospecting actions. Okay, I'm going to give you an analogy here that hopefully makes this a little bit more clear. And that is a hunter versus a trapper. A trapper finds the game trails that animals are taking and lays down a trap for them. Think of a bear trap, right? It's got the teeth, the pad in the middle, a bear walks by, steps on it, it snaps closed and catches it by the ankle. Yet the trapper is still waiting for the bear to come by, and it's very passive, right? You lay the trap once, you wait, you check up on it every once in a while, and hopefully you catch an animal when one walks through, and then you can get it, get the meat, get the pelt, whatever you're after. A hunter, on the other hand, may also follow the same game trails. He may follow tracks and signs in the wilderness when he's looking for animals. He may go to the watering holes that they're at. So there's still some element of looking where the animals are, but he is actively going after them. He's following the trail. He's moving. He's hunting. Okay? He is going to go out into the wilderness, or she, again, I'm just saying he because I'm a he, out into the wilderness, find where the animals are at, and then hunt them from there. And he'll use his tools, his weapons, in order to get what he's after, the pelt, the meat, etc. So, one active, one passive. Now, you can be successful with either. So don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with trapping as compared to hunting. However, hunting is a little bit more reliable because you can create the results yourself. And we don't have to get into a debate about hunting versus trapping when it comes to actual animals, okay? The analogy holds true through the sales side of things. So if it is not clear already, trapping is an analogy for marketing, for advertising. Hunting is an analogy for sales, for prospecting, okay? And I'm going to illustrate this a little bit further by describing some of the activities that are involved with one versus the other. So if you're a trapper, a marketer, you may rely on advertising. The dealership already does this for you. They post their vehicles on their website. They pay for advertising on other websites, cars.com, right? Some of these locations where they get their inventory seen online. Your manufacturer, if you work at a new car dealership, spends a lot of money on advertising so that people buy their brand versus others. And that's why you have people walking into the doors of your dealership already, because the dealership is paying for advertising for you. So that side of things is somewhat taken care of already. Now, as a salesperson, you can also do some advertising. You may go as far as to pay for advertising like your dealership does. I know some salespeople that do that, and it does work. Or you may post vehicles on a marketplace platform such as Facebook Marketplace or a different one. You could also be making social media content and getting yourself out there and hoping that people contact you through your social media pages. Okay, all of these are marketing activities, advertising activities. And you don't want to get caught in the trap of thinking that because you are working out there making videos, posting vehicles online, that you are going after customers, because you're not. You're advertising, you're marketing. Okay, and I don't want to talk down on it. I'm just saying it's not the same thing as outreach, outbound contact. What you are doing is putting up a display and hoping for inbound contact. Versus prospecting is when you have a list of names and numbers and you are reaching out to them, outbound contact. That's the difference, inbound versus outbound, okay? So, posting on social media, listing on Marketplace, paid advertising. These are the three most common types of marketing activities for salespeople. Now, for prospecting, it's mainly going to be calling people, texting people, emailing people through different lead sources, different databases, or demographics, if you will. So, what are your potential sources for prospecting as a car salesperson? Number one is going to be follow-up. These are your existing customers that you've already worked with that still haven't bought a car from you, or that have bought a car from you in the past and you're staying in touch with them. Okay? Some people may not consider this a prospecting activity, but most salespeople don't do it, and it requires outreach. So I categorize it firmly in the prospecting category because it requires you to be proactive and go out and capture them and bring them back so that they can convert into a sale. Now, follow-up is always going to be your number one priority when it comes to the likelihood of whether or not someone will convert into a sale, because they have the closest proximity to purchasing a vehicle, meaning that they were just in your store shopping, they've already contacted you asking for something, and then you're just staying in touch with them. So staying on top of your follow-up is always going to be your most productive form of prospecting. And it's something that you should be doing every day, keeping your CRM clean. I have another video on CRM hygiene that you should absolutely check out, because if you're not using one, you're not going to be able to keep track of this follow-up, which is such an important thing to follow. So next up is going to be the service drive. This is an opportunity that is massive, and salespeople ignore it all the time. The service drive is a constant stream of incoming traffic. And if you get ahead of the curve a little bit and reach out to them, you can turn it from inbound to outbound proactively and capture sales from it that, are just waiting to be made. So if you're at a new car dealership, which is the majority of people that watch my content or are in the group, then you likely have a service drive. The reason that this is such a good opportunity for prospecting is that these customers are coming into the dealership anyways. They are going to be there no matter what. They already have an appointment set with your store. Okay, they've been in contact with people at your store. They are expecting calls from the dealership, which means that they are highly, highly likely to pick up the phone when you call them. This means that you will have a very high answer rate as you go through your prospecting activity with these people. All right, that means it's an absolute goldmine because you're going to have a huge number of conversations, actual live conversations with real people, as compared to some of the other options that you have on the table, which we'll talk about in a second. So, since they are already on the way into your store, half of the job is done for you. You simply have to make them a good enough offer on the phone so that they give you enough time a day to continue down the sales process to the next step. Their vehicle is going to be in the dealership already, so it's super, super easy to offer an appraisal on their car because it's no cost to them. They're going to be there either way. And we'll talk about exactly how to handle that, how to convert those in another video. But I just want to highlight how golden of an opportunity that is. And it's always there. It's always streaming in, and you should absolutely be taking advantage of it. Now, what comes after the service drive? Previously sold customers from your dealership, not necessarily your own customers. These are any customers that have bought a vehicle from your store in the last 2 to 5 years. Now, you can call them before 2 years, although the average time for a trade-in based off the average consumer is about 2 to 5 years. So I would recommend targeting that demographic just because they're a little bit more likely to actually convert into a sale versus someone who's bought a car in less than 2 years from when you're calling them. So these people have an existing relationship with your store. They're semi-warm leads because they already know who you are. Again, they're likely to pick up the phone if they recognize a number as being from your dealership because they've done business with you before. And there's, a sense of curiosity. Why are they calling me? Maybe this is service related or for some other reason that's important and I need to pay attention to. So you're going to have a higher pickup rate with these than other sources that are colder. Now, these customers, if approached correctly, will always convert if you have enough volume. I want to make an illustration here to prove my point. At any given point in time, okay, while you're working, throughout the entire population of people in your local market, there is a certain percentage that are ready to buy a vehicle. They are in the market. They are searching around. A certain percentage of that group of people that's in the market doesn't care who they buy from. Really, they just want to get it over with. They don't like the shopping process. Okay, it's a chore. It takes time. It takes a lot of mental effort to make decisions and figure out what you're going to purchase. If a salesperson calls them during this window of opportunity, they will buy from that salesperson because he or she is offering them an opportunity to skip the painful process of shopping for a vehicle. You can offer them a solution and solve their problem instantly. You can remove the decision making and just invite them in and take care of them. This is what a professional does. You go out into the market, you find people with problems, and you solve them. Okay? That's actually being a business owner. You are engaging in capitalism with your market by closing the gap between their problem and the solution that you have, which is your inventory in this case, and more importantly, your service of making the process easy and simple for them. So if at any given point, there's a certain number of people that are just ready to be activated through contact, then it's your job to go and find them. Okay? This is a statistical fact. It's a statistical truth. There is always going to be people ready to buy. Now, the number might change depending on your market, what brand you work for, etc. But there is always going to be a number, whether that's 0.5%, 1%, 2%, 3%, you name it. There's always going to be opportunity there. There's also always a certain number of people that are not in the market that can be convinced to be in the market, that are ready and likely to convert if contacted appropriately and with the correct technique. And again, we'll talk about that later, but there is also a certain number of those people that are ready to be activated. If you go out and find them, you will capture those sales, and you can do so reliably and repeatedly. This is how you guarantee your success. This is how you guarantee your income, is you perform enough action, enough outreach that you find and capture these people before somebody else does. And here's the thing, it's super easy because nobody calls like this. Prospecting is such an underperformed activity in the car industry because marketing, advertising is way more comfortable. You can just sit around and do nothing and wait for the customers to come to you. Of course, that's easier. Here's the thing though. It converts less often, okay? If you're just posting content on social media, outside of like major influencers that have lots of followers, I've never seen that convert well, at least compared to prospecting for any of my clients or anyone I've worked with in person. Okay, low leverage activity, creating social media content, posting on Marketplace, a little bit higher. Okay, but now they're actually looking at your inventory, your product in a location where they're more likely to see it potentially. And you don't have the dealership branding all over your account. So it does convert higher than dealer advertising. And then paid advertising does convert as well. The highest return on paid advertising I've seen so far in my career has been about 5 to 8 units a month, additional on top of what they were already doing. Okay. The highest return on prospecting I've seen is close to 25 to 30 units a month, significantly higher. 2.5 to 3 times higher than the best advertiser I've seen. And that's paid ads where money's going out before you get it back in. So just to prove my point, this works way better. You're going to find better customers from it as well. You are in charge of the interaction from the moment it begins to the moment it closes. They're going to love you for solving your problem and making their life easier. And therefore, it is worth doing. So I'm going to talk all about how the specifics of what we do and say in order to convert these different groups of people, service drive, previous customers, follow-up, into appointments and into sales in other videos. Right now, I just want to get the point across that your highest leverage activity, the only way you can really guarantee your success is through proactive outreach with your market. If you are not doing that, you are relying on luck. Even if it feels like you're working by posting videos online, that is still an advertising activity, not a sales activity. So if you really want to win, if you really want to get out there and crush it and make $100,000, $200,000 a year, then you've got to get comfortable with reaching out rather than waiting by. Okay, I hope that was helpful. at least as a big picture concept. I'm looking forward to drilling into the specifics with you. And if you really want some extra help, don't forget to check out the group where we can help you live, answer your questions face to face, and even do some call review and role play from time to time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.